The bridge of the warship Defiance was quiet. Only the soft beeping of machines and the low hum of the engines filled the space. Admiral Jack Reed stood by the large window, looking at the stars. His tall frame cast a long shadow across the floor. The stars seemed cold and distant, much like humanity's hope right now. "Admiral, we have decoded the Vex transmissions," said Officer Tom, breaking the silence. He held a data pad in his shaking hands. "The coordinates are clear. We have found it." Reed turned slowly. His face showed little emotion, but his eyes burned with something between hope and anger. "You're sure this time? The Vex homeworld?" "Yes, sir. The data matches all our predictions. This is it." Reed took the pad and studied the numbers and maps on the screen. After 10,000 years of ruling the galaxy with an iron grip, the Vex had grown careless. They never thought anyone could break their codes. They never expected a species as young as humans to fight back so hard. "Call the command team to the war room." Now, 20 minutes later, Reed stood at the head of a large metal table. Around him sat the last leaders of humanity. Captain Ben, a sturdy man with a scar across his cheek, controlled the ship operations. Dr. Anna, with her tired eyes and quick mind, led the science team. Engineer Lisa, whose hands were always stained with oil, kept the ship running against all odds. And Major Will, whose quiet voice hid a warrior's spirit, commanded the soldiers. 3 years ago, Earth fell. Reed began, his voice firm but heavy with memory. The Vex came with thousands of ships. They turned our oceans to steam and our cities to ash. 7 billion people, gone in 2 days. The room was silent. Everyone remembered where they were when Earth died. But they made a mistake, Reed continued. They thought they killed us all. They didn't know about our deep space fleet. They didn't know about Defiance. He touched a button, and a hologram appeared above the table. It showed a planet surrounded by rings of ships and stations. This is Vex Prime. Their home. Their heart. For 10,000 years, they've conquered every world they found. 1,000 species have been wiped out. 1,000 more serve as slaves. The Vex believe they are gods, and they've never been proven wrong. Lisa leaned forward, her eyes narrowing at the image. Their defenses are massive. How can one ship, even our ship, get through that? Reed's mouth formed a thin smile. Because they don't know we're coming. Because they think humans are too simple to be a real threat. And because we have something they don't expect. He nodded to Dr. Anna, who stood and took control of the hologram. The image changed to show a strange device. "We call it the Silence," she said. "We built it from Vex parts we recovered from their damaged ships. It doesn't just block their signals. It speaks to their network in their own language. It tells their sensors we're not here." Captain Ben shook his head. "We've tried stealth before. It never works against their main fleet." "This is different," Anna insisted. "The Vex are connected. They think as one. Their ships, their weapons, even their bodies are all part of one system. The Silence doesn't hide us. It makes us invisible by making the system ignore us." Major Will, who rarely spoke, asked the question on everyone's mind. "And if it fails?" Reed answered, "Then we die. But we're going to die anyway. Humanity is down to less than 10,000 people hiding on moons and asteroids. Our supplies are running out. The Vex are hunting the last of us. This ship is the only weapon we have left." He looked at each face around the table. "I'm not ordering anyone to come. This is a volunteer mission." Lisa laughed, though there was little humor in it. "With respect, Admiral, where else would we go?" A small smile touched Reed's lips. "Prepare the ship. We leave in 6 hours." The Defiance was not the biggest or newest ship humans had built, but it was special. Created in secret as Earth's last defense, it combined all the best technology humanity had. Its hull was black as space itself. Its engines could push it faster than any Vex ship, and hidden within it were weapons the Vex had never seen before. As the crew prepared for the jump to hyperspace, Reed sat alone in his quarters. On his desk sat a small photo frame showing a woman and a young boy, both smiling in the sunshine of a world that no longer existed. Reed touched the image gently. "I'm keeping my promise," he whispered. A knock at his door pulled him from his thoughts. It was Tom, the young officer from the bridge. "Sir, there's something you should see." Reed followed him to a small room filled with communication equipment. The screen showed strange patterns and moving symbols, Vex language. "We've been watching their main command channel," Tom explained. "They're gathering their forces. Look at this movement pattern." Reed studied the screen, his face growing darker. "They found another human colony." Tom nodded. "Based on these coordinates, it's the Morgan outpost. There are 3,000 people there, mostly families. The Vex will reach them in 7 days." Reed closed his eyes for a moment, his mind racing through calculations and possibilities. How long will it take us to reach Vex Prime? Using the new hyperspace routes, 6 days at maximum speed. The decision was already made in Reed's mind. Then we have no time to waste. If we destroy their command center, maybe the attack force will lose direction. As they walked back toward the bridge, the ship hummed with activity. Crew members moved with purpose, checking systems and securing equipment. Despite the impossible odds they faced, there was energy in the air. Perhaps it was just the comfort of having a clear mission after years of running and hiding. The main deck was a flurry of activity when Reed arrived. Captain Ben approached him immediately. "All systems are ready, Admiral. The crew is at battle stations." Reed nodded and moved to the command chair at the center of the bridge. Around him, screens showed the status of every part of the ship. The stars outside the main window seemed to wait. "Officer Tom, send a message to all remaining human outposts," Reed ordered. "Tell them, Defiance is making final stand. May take enemy heart with us. Remember Earth. Remember humanity." Tom sent the message, then looked up. "Message sent, sir." Reed took a deep breath. "Captain Ben, set course for Vex Prime. Maximum speed." "Course set, sir." Reed looked at the faces around him. Determined, afraid, hopeful. They were the last free humans in the galaxy, about to challenge an empire that had ruled for 10,000 years. Jump. The stars outside stretched into lines, and the Defiance vanished into hyperspace, carrying humanity's last hope toward the heart of their greatest enemy. The Defiance moved through hyperspace like a shark through dark waters. Inside, Captain Ben walked the corridors, checking on the crew. 4 days had passed since they left normal space, and the strain was starting to show on everyone's faces. "Captain," called a voice from behind him. Ben turned to see Lisa, the chief engineer, her face smudged with grease. "We need to talk about the engines." Ben followed her to the engine room, a massive chamber filled with humming machines and glowing power cores. "We're pushing them too hard," Lisa said, pointing to a display showing red warning signs. "At this rate, they'll burn out before we reach Vex Prime." "Can you fix them?" Ben asked. Lisa ran a hand through her short hair. "Fix isn't the right word, but I might be able to make them better." She led him to a workbench where strange metal parts lay scattered. "These are from the Vex scout ship we destroyed last month. Their power system is different. It doesn't just use energy, it creates it. You want to put alien tech in our engines." Ben's voice was doubtful. "Not exactly. I want to adapt their ideas to our system." Lisa picked up a small crystal that glowed with an inner blue light. "This is what they use to focus power. It's 10 times more efficient than anything we have." Ben studied her face. "How dangerous is this?" "Very," Lisa admitted. "But without it, we won't make it to Vex Prime with enough power left to fight." After a moment, Ben nodded. "Do it, but keep me updated on every step." In another part of the ship, Officer Tom sat before a wall of screens, his eyes red from lack of sleep. For 3 days straight, he had been studying Vex communications, looking for patterns, weaknesses, anything that might help. "You should rest," said a calm voice. Tom looked up to see Atlas, the ship's AI, displayed on a nearby screen. Atlas appeared as a simple geometric pattern that shifted and moved as he spoke. "Can't rest," Tom mumbled. "There's something here. I can feel it." "I can continue the analysis while you sleep," Atlas suggested. Tom shook his head. "No offense, but human eyes see things differently. Sometimes we spot patterns that don't make logical sense." "That is both your weakness and your strength," Atlas replied. "Very well. May I offer a suggestion? You have been examining their military codes. Perhaps we should look at their standard communications instead." Tom frowned. "Why?" "The important stuff is in the military channel." "The Vex are a collective mind," Atlas explained. "They do not think as individuals. What if their weakness is not in what they hide, but in what they share openly?" Tom considered this, then nodded slowly. "Show me their public broadcast channels." The screens changed to show flowing symbols and pulsing lights, the way the Vex communicated with each other across their empire. After several hours of watching, Tom suddenly sat up straight. "Atlas, do you see that? That pattern repeats every 17 minutes exactly." "Yes, it appears to be a synchronization signal." Tom's tired face lit up with excitement. "It's more than that. It's a system reset. Their entire network refreshes on that cycle. For just a fraction of a second, every 17 minutes, all their systems are vulnerable." "A fraction of a second is not much time," Atlas noted. "No," Tom agreed, "but it might be enough." He reached for the intercom. "Bridge, this is Officer Tom. I need to speak with Admiral Reed immediately." Meanwhile, in the ship's training room, Major Will watched as his soldiers practiced combat moves. These men and women were the last military force of humanity, just 200 strong. If they reached Vex Prime, they would need to fight their way through the planet's defenses. Again, Will ordered as a group finished a drill. "The Vex move faster than humans. You need to anticipate, not react." Dr. Anna entered the room and waited quietly until Will noticed her. "Doctor," he acknowledged with a nod. "Is something wrong?" "I've been studying the Vex biology samples we have," she said, her voice low so only he could hear. "I found something interesting about their neural system." Will raised an eyebrow. "I thought you were working on weapons." "This is a weapon," Anna replied. "The Vex connect to each other through a bioelectric field. It's how they think as one. But that connection can be disrupted." Will's eyes narrowed with interest. "How?" "A specific frequency of sound waves interferes with their field. It doesn't kill them, but it makes it impossible for them to coordinate." She handed him a small device. "I've modified some of our sonic weapons to emit this frequency. It won't work on their machines, but any Vex soldiers will be affected." Will took the device, turning it over in his hands. "This could give us the edge we need on the ground. How many can you make?" "Enough for your team," Anna promised. "Just remember, it has a limited range. You'll need to get close." Will smiled grimly. "Getting close won't be a problem. Staying alive afterward will be." On the bridge, Admiral Reed listened as Tom explained his discovery about the Vex network. "So every 17 minutes, their entire system has a moment of vulnerability," Reed summarized. "Can we use this?" "Maybe," Tom said, "but we'd need to hit every critical system at exactly the same moment. It would take incredible timing." Reed tapped his fingers on the arm of his chair, thinking. "We need to talk to Atlas. If anyone can coordinate an attack with that kind of precision, it's him." Before he could call for the AI, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. Captain Ben's voice came over the speakers. "Admiral to the bridge. We have a situation." Reed rushed to the main view screen. It showed a massive field of asteroids directly in their path. "We can't go around it," Ben explained. "It stretches for light years in every direction, and our long-range sensors just picked up Vex patrol ships on the other side. They're guarding this route," Reed realized. They knew it was a possible approach to their homeworld. "What are your orders, sir?" Ben asked. Reed studied the asteroid field. Going through would be dangerous, but turning back was not an option. "Slow to 1/4 speed," he ordered. "And engage stealth systems. We're going through, but carefully. No energy weapons unless absolutely necessary. They might detect the signatures." As the Defiance entered the asteroid field, massive rocks drifted past the windows. The ship moved slowly, its black hull barely visible against the darkness of space. "Sir," whispered a sensor operator, "I'm detecting movement ahead. Something's in the asteroids with us." Reed leaned forward, his eyes fixed on the screen. "Show me." The image zoomed in on a section of the field ahead. At first, nothing was visible. Then, as they watched, a shadow moved between two large rocks. "Vex scout ship," Ben confirmed. "It hasn't seen us yet." Reed's mind raced through their options. They could try to slip past, but if the scout detected them, it would alert the entire Vex fleet. They could attack, but a battle would certainly reveal their presence. "Ready weapons," Reed said quietly, "but hold fire." The Defiance drifted closer to the Vex scout, its crew holding their breath. The two ships were on a collision course, separated by a shrinking gap of empty space. 50 seconds to visual contact," Ben reported, his voice tense. Reed gripped the arms of his chair. "Prepare for combat." This journey just got a lot more interesting. 30 seconds to visual contact," Captain Ben announced, his voice tight. Reed watched the screen as the Vex scout ship drew closer. The alien vessel looked like a sharp metal claw, its surface covered in glowing blue lines. 20 seconds. Lisa's voice came over the comm. "Admiral, I've connected the silence to our main power. We can boost it, but it might burn out after one use." "Do it," Reed ordered. 10 seconds. The bridge crew held their breath as the distance between the ships closed. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. "Now, Lisa," Reed commanded. The lights on the bridge dimmed as power surged to the silence. On the screen, the Vex scout continued on its path, moving directly toward them, then suddenly changed course, turning away as if it had spotted something else. "It worked," Tom whispered. "They can't see us." "Don't celebrate yet," Reed warned. "Keep us moving. Slow and steady." For the next 3 hours, the Defiance picked its way through the asteroid field. Twice more they encountered Vex patrols, and both times the silence kept them hidden. Finally, they reached open space again. "We're clear," Ben reported, "but the silence is fried. We won't be able to use it again without repairs." Reed nodded. "Plot a course to continue to Vex Prime. We need tow." An alarm cut him off. On the main screen, a ship appeared, seemingly from nowhere. It was unlike any vessel they had seen before, not Vex design, but something else entirely. Its hull was rough and patched, clearly built from parts of many different ships. "They're hailing us," Tom said. Surprise. Reed hesitated, then nodded. "Put them through." The screen changed to show an alien face. The creature had gray skin with patches of small spines, 4 eyes set in a diamond pattern, and no visible nose. "Human vessel," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Commander Dex of the resistance ship Thorn. You are heading toward Vex territory. This is either very brave or very foolish." Reed stood straighter. "I am Admiral Reed of the Earth warship Defiance. How do you know our language?" Dex made a sound that might have been a laugh. "We make it our business to learn the languages of all who fight the Vex, and humans have fought harder than most, despite being new to the galaxy." "What do you want with us?" Reed asked, still cautious. "To help you," Dex replied, "and to ask for your help in return. May we dock with your ship? There is much to discuss, and the Vex have ears everywhere." Reed looked at Ben, who nodded slightly. "Very well," Reed agreed. "But be warned, we will be ready for any tricks." 2 hours later, Reed sat in the Defiance's conference room across from Commander Dex and 3 other aliens of different species. One was tall and insect-like, another had features like a reptile, and the third was small with 6 arms. My crew represents 12 different species, Dex explained. All of us have lost our worlds to the Vex. We have been fighting them for over 200 years. 200 years. Reed was shocked. How had you survived so long? The insect-like alien, who Dex introduced as Core, spoke in a clicking voice that the translator converted to English. We strike and hide. We steal their technology. We adapt. Core's compound eyes reflected the light. But we have never found their weakness. Until now. Dex nodded. We detected your ship using a device that hides you from Vex sensors. This is technology we have sought for decades. And what do you offer in return? Reed asked. Information, Dex said. We know the layout of Vex Prime. We have maps of their defenses, their weak points. And we have something else. He gestured to Core. Show them. Core placed a small cube on the table. It projected a hologram showing the Vex homeworld. Their central command hub is here, he said, pointing to a tall structure. It controls their entire network across the galaxy. If it falls, all Vex ships and soldiers will lose coordination. Reed leaned forward, studying the hologram. We discovered their network resets every 17 minutes. Is that controlled from this hub? Dex and Core exchanged surprised looks. You found the reset cycle. Even we did not know this. For the first time, Reed felt a spark of real hope. I think we can help each other. Over the next day, the crews of the Defiance and the Thorn worked together. Lisa and Core spent hours in the engine room, combining their knowledge of Vex technology. Their power systems are incredible, Lisa said as she and Core connected components. If we can adapt this to the silence, we might be able to not just hide from their network, but actively manipulate it. Core's mandibles clicked in agreement. The Vex believe they are perfect. This makes them vulnerable to deception. Meanwhile, Reed and Dex planned their approach to Vex Prime. With the Resistance's maps and the Defiance's weapons, they formed a plan that might actually work. We'll need to time our attack perfectly with their reset cycle, Reed said. Atlas can coordinate that. Dex looked thoughtful. An artificial intelligence that can interface with Vex systems. This could be the advantage we've waited for. As they worked, the combined crews began to form bonds. Humans taught the aliens Earth card games, while the aliens shared stories of their lost worlds. For the first time in years, laughter could be heard in the Defiance's mess hall. But not everyone was pleased with the new alliance. In a quiet corner of the ship, a human crew member named Harris watched the aliens with suspicious eyes. When no one was looking, he slipped away to his quarters and pulled out a small device hidden in his mattress. Harris activated the device, which glowed with the same blue light as Vex technology. He spoke quietly into it. This is Agent 5. I have information about an attack on Vex Prime. The humans have allied with resistance forces. They know about the reset cycle and plan to target the central command hub. A cold, mechanical voice responded. Understood, Agent 5. Continue observation. Do not act yet. The Empire will reward your loyalty. Harris quickly hid the device as footsteps approached his door. A knock came, and Tom's voice called, Harris, Admiral Reed is calling a meeting of all senior staff. Coming, Harris answered, his face instantly changing from fear to friendly calm. On the bridge, Reed addressed the combined crews of both ships. We are 1 day from Vex Prime. Tomorrow, we make our final approach. The Thorn will lead using paths their scouts have found through the defensive perimeter. Once inside, the Defiance will target the central command hub. Dex stepped forward. My people have fought the Vex for generations. We never dared to dream of striking at their heart. Tomorrow, that dream becomes possible. Reed nodded to him, then turned back to the crews. Get rest tonight. Tomorrow, we either change the fate of the galaxy or join the long list of those who tried and failed. As the meeting broke up, Reed pulled Tom aside. Have Atlas monitor all communications on and off this ship. Something doesn't feel right. Tom looked surprised but nodded. You think we have a problem? Reed's face was grim. We're about to attack the most powerful empire in the galaxy. I'd be surprised if we didn't. The Defiance and the Thorn moved silently through the darkness of space. Ahead of them, the Vex homeworld grew larger on their screens. Vex Prime was a massive planet, its surface covered with glowing blue lines that pulsed like veins. Thousands of ships formed rings around it, a defensive barrier that had never been breached. Their outer defense ring has 20,000 ships, Dex said, pointing to the display in the Defiance's war room. We cannot fight through that. We won't have to, Reed replied. He turned to Lisa and Core. Is it ready? Lisa nodded. We've rebuilt the Silence with Core's improvements. It should not only hide us from their sensors, but make us appear as one of their own ships. A Trojan horse, Tom explained when the aliens looked confused. An old Earth story about soldiers hiding inside a fake gift to get past enemy walls. Core clicked his mandibles in understanding. Clever. The Vex trust their own systems completely. They will not question what their sensors tell them. Reed pointed to a gap in the defensive ring. The Thorn will approach from this vector, creating a distraction. While they draw attention, the Defiance will slip through here, disguised as a Vex supply ship. It will be dangerous for your friends, Dex warned. My ship is fast, but we cannot outrun the entire Vex fleet. We'll only need 10 minutes, Reed assured him. Just enough time to get past the outer defenses. Then you can jump to hyperspace and regroup at the meeting point. Major Will, who had been silent until now, spoke up. And if the silence fails? If they see through our disguise? Reed's face was grim. Then we fight our way in. One way or another, we're reaching that planet. In his quarters, Harris activated his hidden communicator again. Agent 5 reporting. The attack will begin in 6 hours. The human ship will disguise itself as a Vex vessel, while the alien ship creates a distraction. The mechanical voice responded. This information is valuable. The Empire will be ready. You have served well, Agent 5. What about my reward? Harris asked. You promised to spare me when Earth was destroyed. Continue your service, the voice replied. When the humans are eliminated, you will have your place in the Empire. As Harris put away the device, he didn't notice the small camera hidden in the corner of his room. In the ship's security center, Atlas observed everything. Admiral, the AI's voice came through Reed's private communicator. I have identified the traitor. Crew member Harris has been communicating with the Vex. Reed's jaw tightened. Do not alert him. Monitor his movements. We'll deal with him when the time is right. 3 hours later, the two ships separated. The Thorn took a wide approach toward Vex Prime, while the Defiance powered up the Silence. Engaging Vex signature now, Lisa reported as she activated the device. The ship's lights flickered, then stabilized. According to our sensors, we now appear as Vex Transport 27B, scheduled for routine delivery. Reed nodded. Proceed at 1/4 speed. Stay calm, everyone. Act like we belong here. The Defiance moved toward the massive defensive ring. On the view screen, they could see hundreds of Vex ships, their sharp, claw-like designs glowing with blue energy. We're approaching scatter range, Ben warned. Steady, Reed said, though his knuckles were white where he gripped his chair. For a tense minute, the ship continued forward. Then a Vex patrol vessel moved toward them. They're scanning us, Tom reported, his voice tight. Everyone on the bridge held their breath. The Vex ship came closer, its weapons ports glowing. Scanning complete, Tom finally said. They're moving away. They think we're one of them. A collective sigh of relief swept through the bridge. But the moment was short-lived. Sir, called the sensor operator. The Thorn has engaged. They're attacking the outer defense ring. On the tactical display, they could see the resistance ship firing on Vex vessels. Immediately, dozens of Vex ships broke formation to pursue. "They're drawing them away," Reed observed. "Just as planned. Continue on course." The Defiance passed through the gap in the defensive ring, now moving steadily toward Vex Prime. As they got closer, they could see the planet's surface clearly. It was entirely artificial, a world-sized machine. "The command hub is located at these coordinates," Ben said, highlighting a massive tower that rose from the surface. "We can reach orbit directly above it in 20 minutes. Reed nodded. "Take us in. And someone bring Harris to the bridge. I want to keep our trader where I can see him." Minutes later, a confused and nervous Harris was escorted onto the bridge by 2 armed guards. "Admiral, what's happening?" he asked, trying to sound innocent. Reed didn't look at him. "Secure him to a chair. Make sure he can't reach any controls." As the guards obeyed, Harris's face changed from confusion to anger. "You're making a mistake. I'm loyal to the Vex," Reed finished for him. "Atlas recorded your transmissions, Harris. You've been feeding them information about our plans." Harris's face paled. "They promised to spare me. They said. They lied." Reed cut him off. "The Vex don't keep promises to tools they no longer need." Tom looked up from his console. "Sir, I'm detecting a change in the Vex communications. They're becoming more erratic." Atlas's voice came through the speakers. "I believe they are confused. Our disguise is working, but Harris's information told them to expect an attack. They are looking for us, yet their own systems say we are one of them." Reed smiled slightly. "Chaos in the ranks. Good." He turned to Harris. "It seems your betrayal may help us after all." The Vex now doubt their own systems, something they've never done before. As the Defiance approached orbital insertion, Reed called the senior staff together one last time. "We're about to attempt something no one has ever done: orbit the Vex homeworld and strike at their central command. Once we're in position, we'll have a small window of opportunity during their system reset." He turned to Atlas's display. "You've studied their network. Can you get inside during the reset?" "I believe so," the AI replied. "But I will need direct access to their systems." Lisa spoke up. "We've modified a probe with Vex components. If we can launch it to land on the command hub, Atlas can use it to connect." Reed nodded. "And once inside, I will gather all information about their command structure," Atlas explained. "I should also be able to extend the reset window, giving us more time to act. Meanwhile," Major Will added, "my team will prepare for ground assault. If we can physically reach the hub, we can plant explosives at key points." Reed looked around at his team, humans, and the AI they had built, working together against impossible odds. "The Vex have ruled this galaxy for 10,000 years, he said. "In a few hours, that reign may end. Get to your stations. History waits for no one." As the crew dispersed, the massive blue-lined surface of Vex Prime filled their view screen. The Defiance slowed, matching orbit precisely over the command hub. "Orbit achieved," Ben announced. For a moment, there was silence on the bridge. Then alarms began blaring. "Multiple Vex ships changing course," Tom called out. "They've spotted us." Reed's face hardened. "Now we find out what humanity is really made of." "Vex ships approaching from all directions," Tom reported, his fingers flying across his console. "Time to intercept, 3 minutes." Reed stood calm amid the chaos of the bridge. "Launch the probe. Now." Lisa pressed a sequence of buttons. From the underside of the Defiance, a small object shot toward the planet's surface, aimed directly at the towering command hub. "Probe away," she confirmed. "Impact in 40 seconds. Atlas, prepare for connection," Reed ordered. "Tom, when's the next system reset?" Tom checked his readings. 2 minutes, 17 seconds. Reed nodded. "Perfect timing. Captain Ben, ready all weapons. We need to hold them off until HFY can get into their network. The view screen showed dozens of Vex ships rising from the planet's surface, while more descended from the orbital rings. The Defiance was quickly being surrounded. "Probe has landed," Lisa announced. Connection established. Atlas's voice came through the speakers. "I am accessing the Vex network. Their architecture is fascinating, more complex than I anticipated." "Can you extend the reset window?" Reed asked. "Working on it," Atlas replied. "I need time." "Time is something we don't have," Ben muttered as the first Vex ships came into weapons range. Reed made his decision. "Open fire. All weapons." The Defiance's guns roared to life, sending streams of energy toward the approaching Vex vessels. 2 exploded immediately, but more kept coming. 1 minute to system reset, Tom called out. The ship shuddered as Vex weapons found their mark. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. "Hull breach on Deck 3, reported an officer. "Sealing emergency bulkheads." Reed turned to Major Will. "Ready your team. The moment Atlas extends the reset, you drop to the surface." Will nodded and left the bridge at a run. 30 seconds to reset. Another hit rocked the ship. A console exploded, sending a crew member flying across the bridge. "Shields at 40%, Ben reported grimly. 10 seconds. 5. Reset now. For a brief moment, the attacking Vex ships seemed to hesitate. Their weapons fell silent. Their movements became erratic. "Atlas," Reed demanded. "I have extended the reset window." The AI responded, its voice different somehow, deeper, filled with strange harmonics. "But I have discovered something unexpected. The Vex are not what we thought." On the main screen, an image appeared, not of machines or ships, but of a strange, pulsing mass of blue-white energy. "This is the true form of the Vex," Atlas explained, "a collective consciousness that has existed for millennia. The bodies and ships are just vessels it controls." "And the command hub?" Reed asked. "It houses the primary node of the consciousness. Destroy it, and the Vex will lose cohesion." Reed nodded to Lisa. "Signal Major Will. His team drops now." On the lower deck, Will and 20 soldiers stood in drop pods, small, heavily armored vessels designed for rapid planetary insertion. "We have our window," Will told his team as Lisa's signal came through. "The target is the central spire of the command hub. We plant the charges, then extract. The Defiance will cover our escape." The soldiers nodded, their faces set with determination. They had trained for this moment for years, knowing it might be humanity's last stand. "Launch in 3, 2, 1. Drop." The pod shot from the Defiance toward the planet's surface, streaking through the atmosphere like falling stars. Back on the bridge, Reed watched the tactical display as Will's team descended. "Vex ships regaining coordination," Tom mourned. "Reset window closing." "Atlas, can you extend it further?" Reed asked. "Negative," the AI replied. "They are adapting to my presence. I am being pushed out." The Vex ships resumed their attack with renewed fury. The Defiance shuddered under multiple hits. "Shields at 20%, Ben reported. "We can't take much more of this." Reed's mind raced through options. "Atlas, what about their weapons control? Can you disable it?" "I can attempt to reroute power in their systems," Atlas said. "It will require all my processing capacity." "Do it," Reed ordered. The bridge lights dimmed as Atlas diverted power to interface with the Vex network. On the view screens, some of the attacking ships suddenly veered off course, their weapons firing randomly into space. "It's working," Tom exclaimed. Partially, Reed observed as other ships continued their attack. "It won't hold them for long." On the planet's surface, Will's team fought their way through waves of Vex drones. The sonic weapons Dr. Anna had developed proved effective, disrupting the coordination of the Vex soldiers. "This way," Will shouted, leading his team toward the base of the massive command hub. The central power core should be 3 levels down. They moved through gleaming blue corridors, placing explosive charges at key structural points as they went. The fighting was intense, but the confused state of the Vex network gave them a crucial advantage. Major called one of his soldiers. "I think I've found it." Will joined her at a massive door that pulsed with energy. "This is it. Plant the charges. We have 5 minutes to get clear." As they worked, his communicator crackled. "Will, this is Reed. Status report. Charges being set now, Admiral. We'll be ready for extraction in 5 minutes." "You may not have 5 minutes," Reed replied, his voice grim. "The Vex are adapting faster than we expected. Atlas can't hold them much longer." Will looked at his team, then at the heart of the Vex Empire they had finally reached. "Understood, Admiral. We'll make it count." He turned to his team. "Change of plans. Set the charges for remote detonation, then get back to the drop point. I'll finish here." "Sir," one of the soldiers questioned. "That's an order. Go." As his team reluctantly withdrew, Will continued deeper into the command hub. On the Defiance, alarms blared as systems failed across the ship. "Shields critical," Ben reported. "Hull breaches on multiple decks." Reed saw more Vex ships approaching from the defensive rings. There were too many. Even with ATLAS's interference, they couldn't fight them all. "Major Will's team is requesting extraction," Tom called out. "All except Will himself." Reed frowned. "Where is he?" "Still in the command hub." Sir, he's heading for the central core." Reed suddenly understood. He's going to trigger the charges manually. He took a deep breath. "Captain Ben, move us into position to extract the team." Tom opened a channel to Will. Will's voice came through, broken by static. "Admiral, I've reached the core. It's beautiful, in a strange way. The whole Vex consciousness is here, right in front of me." "Will, get out of there." "That's an order." "No time, sir." Will's voice was calm. "Their systems are adapting. If I leave, they'll disarm the charges. Someone needs to make sure this works." Reed closed his eyes briefly. "Understood, Major. Earth thanks you for your service." "It's been an honor, sir. Tell the others. Tell them we won." The line went silent. Moments later, a massive explosion bloomed on the planet's surface. The command hub collapsed in on itself, and a wave of energy spread across the planet. On the view screens, the attacking Vex ships suddenly stopped moving. Some drifted aimlessly, while others began to fall toward the planet. "The network is collapsing," Atlas reported. "The central consciousness has been severed from its vessels." Reed watched in awe as the mighty Vex Empire began to crumble before his eyes. "Sir," Tom said quietly, "I'm receiving signals from all over the galaxy. Vex ships everywhere are shutting down. And there's more. Other ships are appearing. Resistance vessels coming out of hiding. Send a message to all of them," Reed ordered. "Tell them, the Vex are fallen. The galaxy is free." As the Defiance moved away from Vex Prime, Reed looked at the stars beyond. For the first time in 10,000 years, they shone on a galaxy no longer ruled by fear. "Set course for the nearest human outpost," he told Ben. "It's time to rebuild." 3 months later, representatives from 50 species gathered on a neutral space station. At the center of the assembly stood Admiral Reed, now older-looking but standing proud. "Today, we form the Galactic Council," he announced. "A new alliance built not on conquest, but on cooperation. The Vex ruled through fear and control. We will lead through understanding and freedom." Commander Dex, standing beside him, added, "For generations, our peoples fought separately against tyranny. Today, we stand together in victory." As the delegates cheered, Reed looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, human colonies were growing again. Earth was gone, but humanity had found its place in the universe. And it had all begun with a single warship that dared to reach orbit around the heart of an empire.